As part of our continuing series on building a better tomorrow, we're going to visit Glendalough State Park just outside of Battle Lake. And we're going to learn how the Glendalough Park Partners have helped to make that community a better place to live. Glendalough State Park is beautiful at any time of year. It is a pristine gem of a park with almost 2,000 acres and 6 lakes, and a connecting stream that winds its way from West Battle Lake to Ottertail Lake. People come here to enjoy wildlife and trails through one of the last large tracts of undeveloped lakeshore and land in west central Minnesota. The volunteers who have provided direction and support since Glendalough first became a state park 20 years ago have played an important role in making the park what it is today. Kristi Everts is married to one of the owners of Everts Lumber Company in Battle Lake and has been very involved in the Glendalough Citizens Advisory Board and the Park Partners for several years.
I've been married 29 years, and as a matter of fact, the place where I lived when I married my husband Peter Everts was right across the lake on Annie Battle Lake. And Peter was living there at the time we got married, and we actually lived there for 10 years. And before we moved to West Battle Lake.
Having lived here all that time, you got to see what was once privately held estate
exactly
become a state park.
Mm-hmm.
Can
yes.
you tell us just a little bit about
well,
that?
when we moved in about 81, this area, which was their resort, this building, the lodge, and they had about like 5 or so cabins and a dining hall down this direction. They were not being used very much. They were kind of at the end of their time of using it as a corporate getaway and a family vacation place. And so they just were not using it. There were still deer, to drive through and look at. A lot of people in the community still continued to come through on the Circle Drive and see the wildlife. And the Coles family decided to donate it rather than sell it to a developer, which was wonderful because, it could have been very profitable for someone to develop here, including lumber yards in the area and that type of thing. But I think everybody is much happier just having it primitive and a place where you can still come and see the wildlife and enjoy the quiet.
How's that impacted the community of Battle Lake, having a state park here?
It's increased business somewhat in Battle Lake because of the people that are stopping there and coming to use Glendalough State Park. Science teachers have made use of the park, bringing groups out here, and then also for fun days as well, coming out and sledding or hiking or skiing and that type of thing. There's kind of 2 parts to the Park Partners. There's the Glendalough Advisory Board, which is 9 people, and they're elected to the board, and then everybody and anybody that wants to become involved with the park can be a park partner, and that would mean that you pay a membership, and then you are a voting member of the advisory board when we have a vote. And also you receive a quarterly newsletter, and it's your contribution to the park. You can just feel a part of everything by being a park partner. So we have approximately 300 park partner memberships right now. People that are from the area, or people that just use the park or are interested in the history of the park. So that's the big organization, the Park Partners. And then I happen to be on the advisory board, and I'm in my 3rd term now, so I guess it will be 9 years coming up probably this August that I've been on the board. The advisory board meets quarterly, and we meet with the park manager, Jeff Wiersma, and oftentimes other people that are employed by the state, the naturalists and other people that are doing projects in Glendalough. And they keep the advisory board up to, keep us abreast of what's happening as far as future plans, what's going to be funded, what isn't going to be funded, that type of thing. And we also can take concerns from people we know in the community. I think there were resort owners that were wondering if it was going to be competitive, if they were going to, open up cabins, and it just kind of made everybody want to know what was going on. And so the advisory board was formed. The advisory board is constantly evolving. People leave, people, get elected into the group, but it's a great volunteer opportunity. The park partners are mainly funded by a annual walk for Glendalough, which is always held in April, the closest Saturday to Earth Day. Okay, since 1998, we've raised $198,000 for projects in the park, and that would be through our donations and our walk for Glendalough. Our group is always looking for projects in the park to fund, and normally what we're looking for is a project that the community that's supporting the walk will like, and also one that will not be funded through state funds, because we'll let the state pay for the things that they can. This lodge is a great example. It has been restored to its original look. The park partners also paid for the refurnishing of all of the furniture. We have some beautiful stickly leather around the fireplace, and it's a great place to have a party. It's available to rent.
What are some other projects that the partners have been involved with over the years?
There has been really a number of them. Some of the earlier projects were, there is a walking bridge that goes over the creek that connects Molly Stark with Annie Battle Lake, and it just makes the walk around Annie Battle complete by having a walking bridge, and it's a beautiful little metal bridge that goes over the creek. That was one of the first projects from one of the first walks for Glendalough, and there's also a picnic shelter on Molly Stark Lake. Our latest big project with park partner money, with our donated funds, was to renovate the trail center and build an addition which has great handicapped accessible bathroom facilities, and it's just a great building now that I don't know what we'd do without it. Everybody, we've gotten many compliments on that one. It's just a project that's really been useful for the schools, for groups, and our annual walk for Glendalough. Now we have a nice area to hold our lunch that we always have, and yeah, I think just many people that are in the area for the summer just really enjoy this for bike riding and walking and just getting to a quiet place.
Jeff Wiersma has been the manager at Glendalough State Park since 1998 and is very grateful for the involvement of this group of volunteers.
I think the park partners have really contributed to the development of this park, to the promotion of this park. If you compare us to parks that became state parks at the same time, we are light years ahead of where those parks are now. They have contributed in every way possible, raising money for park projects, as well as providing volunteer help with events, working with school groups. It just goes on and on. We would not be where we are today without all the community support and the park partner support that we've gotten. This is what we consider our interpretive or visitor center.
Yeah.
This is what has a lot of the interpretation about the history of the park. It's kind of it really is the heart, so to speak, of the park. And so, what we didn't talk about is that if it wasn't for the involvement by the park partners, this building would not be here. Nor would the one next door. You would not have these
They would have been torn
fabulous
down.
buildings. They were not being maintained. When I started here, this was suffering from a great deal of water damage and a leaky roof, and it probably wouldn't have lasted more than a few more years before they would have had to tear it down. Yeah. And now we have this wonderful building that's more than 100 years old and still looks just fabulous.
Yeah.
And it's just a real showpiece.
It really is a treasure, isn't it?
Well, I know actually when the first article came out about this as a state park, it called it a gem, and I haven't really found a better word to express